Welcome to the realm of astrology. This is your daily horoscope for June 30th, 2021, which is a Wednesday. But before we begin, I would like to let you know that I do daily video horoscopes that I post on my YouTube channel every single day. I do weekly video horoscopes that I post every single week, and I also do monthly horoscopes and monthly sun rising sign horoscopes that I post on my channel as well. You can watch all those, and I also request you to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that you can be notified every time I post a video. Now let's begin with today's horoscope. So the first thing that's happening today is something that I mentioned yesterday, and it is the Moon Neptune conjunction. The Moon here at 23 degrees is meeting up with Neptune retrograde. Now this energy, let's break it down. The Moon is our emotions, it's our emotional body, and in Pisces, our emotions like to go with the flow. We feel like taking it a little bit, like we need to go with the flow, taking it a bit easy, not being so rigid about things. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces, and Neptune is the planet of spirituality. It is the planet of the higher realm, of a higher power, of the other realms, but it is also a very sensitive energy. It's also a very sensitive planet. It's a planet of drugs, delusions, depressions, confusion, lies, all these sorts of things as well. And the moon in Pisces is also very spiritual. It's also very much connected with the higher realm. So when these two planets meet, there's so much Pisces energy and it's connected to our emotions, which means that emotionally we can feel very spiritual. We can feel very connected with the higher realms. It's a great time for creative pursuits like writing poetry or writing music, things like that. However, since this energy is so sensitive and the manifestation can also be the negative manifestation of Neptune, it's not necessary, but it might happen and it can lead to emotional confusion. It can lead to overreacting emotionally to something that we would not react to otherwise. It can also be not being able to see things as they are. Something's going on, but you're maybe interpreting it differently. And that's because Neptune can make things foggy, make things confusing. So that's the energy that we begin the day with, 6 a.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. India time, approximately. And that's the manifestation. So on one hand, it could be the most magical, spiritual, emotional moment, the most creative moment for you. Or on the other hand, it can be a very sensitive moment, a moment where there is a tendency to overreact. There might be a tendency to feel a little depressed. So just be mindful of that. But the good news is that the moon moves so fast that this energy will be there for about a couple of hours. And that's it. So that's the morning. And then moving on, let's see the chart. Moving on at about 10 a.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. India time. Actually, a little later in the day. No, it's 10 a.m. Yeah. The moon at 25 degrees of Pisces is going to sextile Pluto retrograde. Okay, now this is a positive aspect, a 60-degree angle. It facilitates things. And the moon, like I said, is our emotions. And in Pisces, it is our emotions, very deeply connected with the higher realms, a very go with the flow sort of energy. And Pluto is healing, it is transformation, it is death, it is rebirth, it is catharsis. It's a complete transformation of something, complete. It's regeneration also. So Pluto is a lot of things, and Pluto is retrograde right now. Okay, and the moon is sextiling this. So this is a point where there will be an emotional transformation, an emotional ending, an emotional beginning, an emotional regeneration, or an emotional catharsis, or an emotional healing. Any one of these things. And I think they're all related. If we heal something, we end something. We end an old emotional way of being and we begin a new emotional way of being. If we transform something, there is death and rebirth and transformation as well. So this is a point where we are transforming, healing, regenerating our emotions. And there is a spiritual element to all of these things, to this energy. And since Pluto is in retrograde, this healing that we're receiving is connected to the past. It's not new. We've been here before. And this goes back to about Feb 26th, 25th or 26th, around that time, because Pluto was at 2558 around that time. And let's talk about that a little bit more. So Pluto right now is retrograde, which means that it moved forward, right? But now it's moving back. So it's covering some area, common ground. And then when Pluto goes direct in October, it'll start moving forward again, which means certain degrees it will cover 3 times, not just once, 3 times. And 2558 is one of those degrees. We went over that degree, Pluto went over that degree, Feb 25th, 26th. Now we're retrograding back on that degree. And the moon is sextiling it. So that healing, that transformation, whatever is happening, ties back to Feb 25th, 26th, 2021 somehow. And this is not the complete healing, the complete transformation to our emotions, because we still have one more time that Pluto will go over 2558, which will be post-October, after October. And that's when this process, or whatever we are healing, transforming, ending, beginning right now, will complete itself. But right now is an important moment in that healing process. Now moving on. At about 7 p.m. Pacific time, which makes it 7 a.m. India time, July 1st, the moon is going to change signs and it's going to enter the sign of Aries. Now the moon changes signs every 2.5 days, and when it does, the energy in our life, the focus in our life shifts in very subtle ways, in very subconscious ways. And now we've moved into Aries. The moon has moved into Aries. So for the past 2.5 days, when the moon was in Pisces, it was a very easy energy, go with the flow, spiritual, creative, that sort of vibe. Now in Aries, Aries is the warrior, it's the go-getter, it's the sign ruled by Mars. So when the moon is in Aries, as it is right now and will be for the next 2.5 days, we will be focused on taking action, getting things done, taking initiative. And it can also be a very reactive energy, because Mars is reaction as well. So right now, from a very easy, go with the flow approach to things, we will be, okay, let's do this now. I want this, I want it now. Impulsive. Moon in Aries is very impulsive also. It does not think things through. So just be mindful of that. If there's something that you've been pondering about, whether to do it, whether not to do it, the moon in Aries will just say, okay, I don't care. This is how I feel. I'm doing it. But maybe take a moment, take a step back and reassess that thought. Because that's the downside of Aries, right? So impulsive. It's a great thing, but it can be a downside too. So now the energy will start to get impulsive. Getting things done, taking action. And take action, but ask yourself, am I being impulsive? So that's moon in Aries. And now the moon in Aries is going to trine in the next day or so, is going to trine the South Node, is going to trine Mars here. So it's going to make some positive aspects. It is also going to conjunct Chiron. So we have a lot to talk about, but that's not happening today. So that's all the energy that's happening today. However, today is the build up to the Mars Saturn opposition, which happens tomorrow, July 1st. But you can see on the chart, Mars is at 12 degrees, Saturn is at 12 degrees, Chiron is at 12 degrees, Uranus is at 13, North Node at 10, South Node at 10. They are all making aspects to one another. So I'm going to very briefly break this energy down, and then we'll talk in detail tomorrow, because the build-up is everything. You must be feeling this energy by now. It's an intense energy. Mars Saturn opposition, like I said, like I have been saying in my other videos, this energy can manifest in different ways. One of those manifestations could be a restricted feeling to taking action. Because Saturn is restrictions, Mars is action. Restricted action. We may feel very restricted in our action. That's one. Two, it could be that we take a decision about how we are going to take our action. Or we define the steps forward towards taking action. Could be any one of these things. And I also want to mention Mars can feel frustrated. Mars is anger, it is aggression. So when in an opposition to Saturn, and if there is a feeling of restriction, we can feel angry, we can feel frustrated, we can feel like I'm trying so hard. Why isn't this working? And that's, if you're feeling that, that's because of this energy. So these are the multiple ways in which this energy can manifest. However, this energy is also making a lot of other aspects. So let me break those down one by one. It's in a T square to Uranus. Basically, Saturn is squaring Uranus, Mars is squaring Uranus, which means this decision, this change, this feeling of feeling restricted can be very sudden. But the goal is to push you towards being your unique self, because Uranus is also your unique self. And in a square, in an opposition, this energy will definitely feel stressful, but it is not negative, right? That's the first aspect. So this decision, this definition, this feeling of restriction can be quite sudden and unexpected, and the purpose of that is to push you towards being your unique self. Now let's talk about the other aspect that's going on. Mars is trining Chiron, which means there's a healing element to this decision, to this action. Even if you're feeling restricted, once you resolve why you are feeling restricted, there's healing in that. And there is healing in that because you are being your unique self. It's pushing you more towards being your unique self. And yeah, and Saturn here is sextile in Chiron, which means we have been healing our identity through a decision, through building something back since Feb. And now is when the energy is really intensifying. Now, Mars is also trining the South Node, meaning as we take this decision, as we move forward, as we define things, as we ask ourselves why we are feeling restricted and resolve that restriction, the past will become more and more incompatible. It'll become easier and easier to let go of the past and move towards our goals, because Mars is sextiling the North Node, our goals, where we are headed, what we need to become. And Saturn is trining this long term. These goals are for the long term. These goals will help us build the new life that we have been building, which will stay with us for many, many years to come. So a lot is happening, but the basic gist of this energy is that there will be required a decision, some sort of definition to things, some sort of assessing why you're feeling restricted, some sort of adjustments. It can be quite sudden. It will lead to some healing. It is for the long run. It will push you towards your goals. It will make the past more and more incompatible. So that's the basic energy. Now, I do want to give you a brief background on what's been happening in the astrology for the past year or so, and I do this because right now those are the underlying currents we feel on a daily basis, although we may not talk about it on a daily basis. And the first one of those is the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Now these planets met up in January of 2020 and changed our material reality in a very powerful way. And they met up after 38 years, so it was a rare event. And this new reality, we're still understanding, building, because this cycle will stay with us till 2053. So it's a long cycle which will take some time to build. And right now we are building that cycle. The second thing is the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. These planets meet once in 20 years. They met up in December of 2020 and they started a new cycle. And again, this cycle we will build for the next 2 years, lay the foundation for it. So again, we are every day building something, setting the foundation for something. And the next thing is the most important event of 2021. It is the Saturn-Uranus square, a 90-degree angle between these two planets. And this energy will stay with us all of 2021, even into 2022. And it's about getting rid of old things, structures, thought patterns, anything that prevents you from being your authentic self and embracing the new, embracing your uniqueness. And this energy will feel challenging because they're in a square. So we deal with that every day. Every day we overcome our idea of who we are, our idea of who we should be, and embrace who we actually are. And that's not easy. Every day we get rid of something old, even if it's a habit or a thought or anything, and we move towards the new. That's not easy either. So we are doing that in the background. And this energy we're feeling after 21 years. So it's a rare event, maybe 2 to 3 times in a person's lifetime one can feel this sort of energy. And the last thing are the nodes. The North Node is in Gemini, the South Node is in Sag. They were in the same placement between 2001 and 2003, and the nodes are karmic. So they bring back karmic things you need to resolve or close out or build upon. So if you're having similar themes that you had in 2001, 2003 come back to you, it's because of this. And then you need to ask yourself, do I need to close this out? Do I need to review this? Do I need to take this forward and build on this? And that's all the background. And now I will pick a card for today's energy, and then we'll close out the reading. And tomorrow is a new month. We're more than halfway through the year, so that went by pretty fast. So let me pick a card for today. Okay. It says the Fates. And I think today's message is that if you are worried, if you are frustrated, if you are feeling restricted, because the Mars Saturn opposition energy is a lot, it's making so many different aspects. If that is getting to you, if you're wondering why things are not as they should be, or why am I not able to take this step forward? I want to. I have that desire, Mars desire, but I'm feeling restricted, Saturn. Why? Maybe today the universe is telling you that it's okay because it's all fated. Whatever it is you're working towards, it's fated. Let go of the stress. Let go of the energy. Let go of the frustration. Let go of the worry. Because whatever is fated will come to you. And I think this is a positive card because it's a positive fate. Because sometimes what is fated cannot be positive as well. But she's embracing herself. She's embracing herself. And I think that's what we need to do in so much intensity, is embrace ourselves and not be hard on ourselves, and understand that, okay, this is a moment of frustration if you're feeling that way, a moment of confusion, moon conjunct Neptune, but it will pass. And whatever is meant to be will be. And just embrace yourself, embrace your unique self. That's the message, that whatever is meant for you will come to you. Just be you, embrace yourself, and let go of the frustration and the anger. And that's all I leave you with. Do hit the subscribe button, do hit the bell icon, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.